In this episode of the old workshop redevelopment, we finished the roofing off. And ever wondered how you get that super smooth concrete floor finish? I need to do a row of tiles along that top edge there, and all need to be cut. That's about 22.5 centimetres, and I need some way to fix them on because obviously there's no nibs on the back now, so I've been drilling a hole there. I've been marking the tiles out here, drilling a hole first because it's obviously a bit stronger, and I have 18 to do in total, so they're all marked out. The good thing is I've been able to use about 6 or 7 of these tiles which had the corners chopped off. I did buy a new diamond blade for my cutter, so that's made the job much easier. And here we have 18 little mini tiles. How cute are they? Here are little baby tiles installed, and everyone has a screw plus a clip on the side, so they're nice and secure. I did mess up slightly though, because where this baby tile meets a full tile here, I did forget on this last 2 row of tiles at the top, I reduced the batten gauge so the headlap is bigger, and of course this now sticks out slightly, but if you remember I did say I put these on loose, so I'm gonna, I think, adjust that back up, and it will just be the top one that has the reduced gauge, just to tidy that up a little bit. I did the mono ridge along the top, so let's go and have a look at that. There you can see them there. It's pretty smart. I just get down into the neighbour's garden, we can have a look from the back. So if you remember from previous episodes, Gary extended this stone wall up, but pretty pleased how this turned out. Hopefully the neighbours are going to be pleased as well. I do have the mono ridges to fit on this section of course, and probably on Saturday when Gary's back I'll just get him to muck in that little verge section there. Now I know where these tiles finish on this little verge here. I think I'm going to tackle that, and that will involve probably cutting these, I'm not sure what these are called, but these little timbers off flush. I'm going to put a piece of 4x1 timber along there. I just know where to cut the battens off then and fix my undercloak. Got this piece on here, that is just a packer or a backing piece to the final barge board. Trimmed all the battens back so they're all in the right place. I still need to fit the undercloak. You can see I actually use some natural slates there for the undercloak. You can buy those long strips, but I think they look pretty cheap and ugly, so I like to use natural slate, and the slates come in 250mm wide, so I just cut them down the middle with my grinder, and that gives me 125mm wide strip, and that just sits there underneath the tile battens. So I've got 3 and a bit to cut down now to go on that verge along there. Saturday morning, we have our special guest back again. He told me earlier he didn't like a day off, so he wants to come here every weekend from now on.
Not really.
So yesterday I did get all those undercloak slates in place, and I cut all the tiles down, got those all fitted, And yeah, Gary's just busy mucking the verges in, and I am going to try and get these ridge tiles finished off. So you can see up there I've loaded up the ridge tiles all along there, and I'm going to start at that end so then Gary can muck that one in. All those ridge tiles are done. I even got a little bit cute and cut a small piece just to fit in there. Gary's pointed in that little bit of verge, lead dressed down, and this side is all complete now. I can grab my ladder and not have to disturb the neighbour anymore. Yeah, really pleased how that's all turned out. The roof tiling aspect is pretty much finished now. Obviously there's barge boards to come on these verges and the soffits. A little bit of lead to be dressed down there as well, but other than that it's all done, everything's pointed in. So we just thought we'd end the day by fitting the window sills. Kind of excited to get that done. So I've got these huge great things to fit here. I think they come from the salvage yard actually, and yeah, Gary's just bedding them on. I actually went along and trimmed all the insulation back. Yeah, I've just trimmed that back so they sit on there, but they are, well, this one anyway, just trying to tilt forward a little bit, so we just put some blocks on there. Window sills are on. Gary's just doing the last bit of pointing. Pretty pleased how they're looking. Really finishes off the building, I think. Let's turn our attention to the concrete floor, and I've got a company coming in just a few days to lay the actual final slab. I've opted for a power floated finish. They add a sealer, so that'll be the final finish on the floor. I won't need to do any kind of timber or tiles or whatever. Quite an industrial look, but I have quite a lot to do before the concrete slab can go down. I have to fit a radon damp-proof barrier, then there's insulation, then another kind of membrane to stop the concrete all falling between the insulation, then the rebar to reinforce the slab. I've had a good clear out of the room, and this is the radon stroke damp-proof barrier that needs to go down first, and this is all the insulation that needs to go on top of that. Now the damp-proof course on the building is the top of this first block, so we've got 225mm there. We've got 125mm insulation here, and so that'll leave 100mm concrete slab, and I have actually got some reinforcing mesh, and I have all the tapes. I've got butyl tape for sealing it, double-sided butyl tape, and just some tape, just, I don't know, just to hold things in place a little bit. Obviously a couple of pipes to go around But let's just make a start. I just want to try and unpack this a bit, and I think it's 4 meters wide, so it's not quite wide enough to go across there. So there will be a taped joint along this area here, but it's 20 meters long, so it should do the whole entire length of the room. Got this radon barrier DPC down on this side of the room. It wasn't quite wide enough to go across the widest part of the room, so there's actually 2 pieces. I've overlapped them, so I've pretty much got a double layer on this section. You can see here this dark line, that's a butyl tape, and yeah, put that on all the overlaps, and I've used some other butyl tape on the joints as well. I need to just finish off putting this radon barrier on that part, and obviously the insulation's in the way, so I think I'll start shifting that over. I'll get 2 or 3 boards of insulation down and I'll just stack the rest on top of it. I'm thinking, I haven't quite decided, but to put them lengthways across there, sort of brick bond pattern if you like, so a long one, short one, then the other part of the short one, long one, etc. There we go, got like 6 boards down. You might be wondering why there's a few different types of insulation. I had a load of this ceiling insulation left over, 5 boards, but that was only 100mm, so I bought some 25mm insulation to make up the difference. For no particular reason, I'm just staggering them just to use it all up. Got all the rest of the insulation loaded up there now. That's allowed me to clear that end wall, so I can finish putting the radon barrier up against that. Got the rest of the radon barrier down, looking good. This silver stuff is one-sided butyl tape, but I've actually got some double-sided underneath there, so I've kind of doubled up on everything. Same around those pipes. You can see the butyl tape on the inside there, and I've got some on the outside, just to make sure it's fully sealed. And now I can lay the rest of this insulation. The insulation is all fitted, looking good. And now I'm just going around and putting this edge insulation there. That just stops the concrete going right up to the block work and causing like cold bridging issues. and it allows for a bit of expansion. Got all the edge insulation fitted all the way around. And next job is I've got another damp proof membrane, which is just going to sit on top of the insulation, and that really is just to stop the concrete getting in the joints of the insulation. If I'd had all foil backed insulation, I could have taped the joints with aluminium tape. So I'm just going to roll that out, cut it around the corners, etc. Bit of tape. I actually ran out of duct tape, gaffer tape, whatever you want to call it. So there's a bit of full tape there, but it's taped all around the edges. And I just brought in these little spacers for the rebar. I'm just going to start bringing in that rebar and setting it out. Got about 3/4 of the metal down there, and I've just been wiring it all together flat on the ground. Here you can see I just started putting the spacer things underneath. I'm going to see how firm it is, but I may end up cable tying those on as well. I just know that when that concrete starts pouring in, everything moves around a little bit. And there we go. We are now ready for the concrete pour tomorrow. All the reinforcing mesh is in place. I might just stick a few more ties down, just because I've seen the concrete push those spacers out before, but it's looking really good. It's all happening, and the line pump is here to pump in the concrete. Laser level thing happening. Not quite sure how it all works. You can see the concrete is all in. It's gone very quiet because they've all disappeared. They just need to let it go off to a certain stage, so they're going to come back and then start the power floating process. concrete pour this morning was at about 8 a.m. and it is now about 4:30 p.m. The guys are still here. They're basically, whatever this machine's called, power floating every probably half an hour. I think they've probably got 2 more wipe overs, I think they called it, to go. So obviously the concrete is still going off, but every time I come out here, yeah, it's getting smoother and smoother. You can just about see a couple of imprints from the shoes, etc., but it's getting much smoother. Pretty excited. I've actually rigged up a few lights, so I'm not sure how well it comes across on camera, but yeah, you can see just a few lines in the concrete. It's Lyndon just putting the sealer on. And does that come in different finishes then? Is it like a matte finish or a shiny finish? Or
yeah, you get an SB finish, which looks good going on, but it doesn't dry out well, you know?
Okay.
But this stuff, I like this stuff.
He's got his socks on. That's a good sign.
Give it half hour now. It'll all dry in and nice.
That's looking great, isn't it?
Yeah. Just wants one more power float down our last side.
That's it. He's done. Can't wait to see what it looks like in the morning. But there's another layer of sealer on there. So I came out this morning and I can already see that a neighbour's cat has walked through here. There's some dirty footprints running right from one door to the other, but I don't think it's affected anything. The concrete had gone off by then, and yeah, really pleased with how this is all looking. Just want to thank you all for watching and your continued support. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment if you like. That's really appreciated, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.